Alright, y'all boys, we're back with another Solo Leveling Arise video, and today we're going to be talking about an upcoming character that's going to be coming out in maybe about 10 days, if there is no filler banners in between. And that character that we're going to be talking about is Alicia Branch. So we have her right here. Okay, says that she's a bit tired to come back later. Yes, I will be coming back in about 10 days' time to see if your banner is up and then pull on you as usual, right? So basically, this is going to be her character model when she does release in the game. So as you can see, pretty simple, but has a little spice to it. You know, has a little snowflake kind of emblem right there. The same on her little wand, and then she has like a bracelet here, a ring bracelet, and a little. I guess I don't know what they're called. Ankle what? You know what I'm saying? Like a bracelet for your ankle or whatever the hell it's called. Anyways, pretty cute character. Not my type of character, but I mean that doesn't mean too much, anyways. So yeah, we're going to be talking about her kit, and then from there on, we'll be talking about if you should pull for her. So if you haven't seen an earlier video that I did before, um, I did cover her when she first initially got leaked, but we're just going to go over her again. So do keep in mind a lot of these stats and like percentages might change in the near future because she hasn't been released yet, and she hasn't been announced as I believe she hasn't been announced as well. So yeah. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So she is a water mage character. The Witch of the Snowstorm is her weapon. Just judging by how the attack is, she's probably going to be an attack character because the attack is way higher than defense and the HP is kind of okay. So her model looks exactly the same as it does in game. So this is her weapon. So it has attack. So yeah, she's going to be built off of attack. So you want to build as much attack as you can. Increases the user's core attack damage. When the ice body armor effect activates, increases the user and team wars damage by 2.5%. So basically, she's going to be boosting her damage and her team's damage if they're water, right? So that's already good. So it's by 20% at max, and then 10% for the entire team at max for 20 seconds. And the cooldown is 30 seconds, so you only have a 10-second downtime where you're not boosting the entire teams. But that is completely fine because 10-second downtime is not a big deal. You just cycle out of her and you go to your first starting character who's going to be inflicting increased damage taken or stuff like that, or defense down. And then once you start going back into your other two characters' rotations, then you'll probably have the buff up once again, right? So it's not too bad. It's like you have 100% uptime for your DPSs. So first attack is basically going to be her basic attacks, Touch of Winter. It looks like they're going to do a little preview. So it looks like there's 5 attacks there. Pretty long animation time, but the attacks themselves look very quick, quick strings. So you might be able to, dodge and all that in between easily. And you have a core attack, Frost Arrow. Okay, so it's like a big explosion basically on that area. I don't know how much range that is. Hopefully it has a very good range, but the enemy is right in front of her, so I can't really tell the range on it. Because she is a ranged character, so. Okay, Winter Storm, Alicia attacked the enemy by summoning an Icy Whirlwind. The summon Icy Whirlwind moves in the direction entered. So I am not entirely sure if this is a dash or if this was a teleport. I'm hoping it's a teleport because then it'll be easier to actually lock onto the character and use this storm. The storm looks fairly similar to Parkegian Storm, where you just use the skill and then it continuously does damage, and basically the application from the freeze will proc on. The only thing I don't like about this skill itself is when the skill hits as a 30% chance to freeze the target. The 30% chance to freeze the target kind of sucks, to be honest. Like 30% chance, I really. It also applies the ice body armor effect to their team members. I do not know what it does because it doesn't look like they're going to probably show us. We're going to go move on to the next skill. Ice Needle. Alicia attacks the enemy by creating a large icy terrain that detonates. Yep. Very basic. Special skills. So basically, this is the support skill, Ice Detonation. Alicia attacks the enemy by creating a large icy terrain that detonates. So it gives the ice body armor effect to Sun Jin Woo, and it also freezes the target for 5 seconds. Very good. Very nice. So if you need to stop a boss dead in their tracks while using Sun Jin Woo because you're not going to be able to dodge their telegraphed attack or whatnot, she can stop that enemy and you have nothing to worry about. As you can see, it's probably going to be very good. I don't know how many times you'll be able to use it, but I guess when you're fighting some sort of content with Sun Jin Woo and you need water advantage, she'll be good there. QTE skill, Eternal Frost. Alicia attacks the enemy by creating an icy field that detonates. So this is when you tag her in, and then they'll freeze the target. Last hit in the combo, which is good. Although it was a very fast attack, so I don't even really know what they mean by combo. It was literally like one hit, but all right. Absolute Zero, shaking off her sad memories. Alicia unleashes a chill strong enough to freeze her surroundings and attacks enemies while they are frozen. And then this deals water damage, inflicts airborne, who cares? And then when the last attack in the combo hits, it freezes the target. And then this skill applies 5 instances of frost to the user. I don't know why they worded it like this when the last attack it was literally just one hit. So it wasn't even really a combo. But alright. So this will give you frost stacks. So I'm pretty sure frost stacks are going to be an important part of her kit. So here's the passive. When Eternal Frost, Winter Storm, or Ice Needle are used, they apply the frost effect to the user. Frost activates core attack change. So basically your core attack will change into a different attack. And the user's core attack damage changes to Bitter Cold Spear. And when the user uses Bitter Cold Spear, it consumes frost instances up to 3 instances at once. So basically you can consume up to 3. Not bad. And then Bitter Cold Spear's damage increases by 80% per frost instance that's been consumed, increasing up to 240%, with the duration being infinite and then stacking up to 5 times. So naturally, when you come into her, you use her first skill, second skill, you'll have 2 stacks of instances of frost. And then you can do your core attack or whatever, that's going to be like 160% damage, right? When you consume your core attack. But then let's say if you do your next rotation, you go into your second cycle and you finally have your ult. Then you use her ult, you'll get 5 instances of her core attack. You attack with her core attack, right? You use it a few times. So that way you can actually get rid of your Bitter Cold Spear. So what I'd do is you go into the rotation with her, like let's say you're in their second cycle, you go into the rotation with her, use her core attack 1 time, right? Then you'll be down to 2 frost stacks. Then you use 1 skill, so you get 1 more frost stack, and then you attack again with your core attack, and then use your other instance, like your other skill, so that way you get another stack of frost. So you'll have at least 1, right? It's gonna take some time getting used to her to be able to do your frost stacks, but overall sounds pretty nice. 240% damage basically on your core attacks. So she's definitely gonna be a core attack type of character. So you're probably gonna want to use the Dragon Knights set on her, which is the one that increases basic skill damage, basic attack damage, and your core attack damage and your core gauge. So that's gonna be probably her best in slot. But if you don't have that, you can also use her crit attack set. The crit attack set is just fun on her as well because I mean it's a universal set that you can use on majority of characters that want crit, like almost everybody who isn't a support character, minus Choi, because Choi doesn't crit, so he just gets a lot more attack. So you just need attack and defense pendant damage increase on him. So yeah. Anyways, we're getting a little bit sidetracked. Now we're going to be talking about her dupes. So when the shield is active, she increases the user's crit hit rate and crit hit damage by 16%. So kind of similar to Shay, where Shay also does this in her dupes, except she has it just built into one, and it's only when she's shielded. I'm assuming that the ice body armor effect that she has is considered a shield, so this is going to be further improving her, right? Then you have her second dupe. When Eternal Frost, Winter Storm, or Ice Needle are used, applies 1 additional frost effect. So basically when you use your first skill, your second skill, and I believe your ult. I believe her ult was Eternal Frost, was it? Oh no, it was her QTE. Her QTE was Eternal Frost, right? So basically, when you tag her in and then you go in, if you got 2 loops, right? If you tag her in and you go in, you will have you'll have 2 stacks of frost. Then you use her first skill, you have 2 more stacks, so you have 4 stacks of frost. use her core attack, you consume 3, so you'll have 1. Use her other skill, you'll have 3 again. Use her core attack again. So that's probably going to be the combo. Actually, okay. Let me rephrase it a little bit quick, simpler. I was starting to confuse myself here. You would go in, QTE, use 1 skill, like 1 basic skill. That's going to have 4 stacks. You use her core attack. It's going to consume 3 stacks. You'll now have 1 stack. You use her second skill. That'll give you 2 more stacks. So you'll have 3 again. You use her core attack 1 more time. So then that'll be your second core attack. Then you use her ult. Then once you use her ult, you'll gain 5 stacks of frost because of her ult. And then you can do your core attack once again, right? So that'll be the most likely the combo string that you'll do with her. It's a little bit confusing, but I'm pretty sure once you actually get to use her and interact with her and get it in practice, you'll probably be able to understand the actual string, and you'll probably be able to do it very frequently with her. And it'll be kind of like second nature to you, right? Then her third dupe increases damage dealt to frozen targets. That's okay because her first skill doesn't really have that good of a freeze. Like it's really whatever. It kind of sucks because like her only consistent way of actually getting off freeze is her QTE, where it actually inflicts freeze when she swaps in. So yeah, I mean, it's this having a 30% chance to freeze just really sucks. It really should be at least like 60 or 70%. 30% is just so low. It's like a third of the time that you'll actually be inflicting freeze, which means in most fights you probably won't even get to utilize this as efficiently unless you use her in a water mono team that also has freeze, right? So this is only going to be very good on teams that do have freeze comps, right? Because I mean, consistency's sake, she doesn't have that much consistency in freezing the targets. Next up, you have her fourth dupe. All team members' water damage increases by 5%, so this is more support for your entire team. And then you have your fifth dupe, applies the ice body armor effect to the entire team every 40 seconds. So passively, you'll be getting the ice body armor, which is essentially most likely going to be a shield. And of course, this gives you other bonuses as well for having it. This, which is like the increased water damage for your team because of her weapon. This effect remains active even when the user tags out. So if you tag out, you'll still have the ice body armor effect. So you don't really have to worry too much about not having ice body armor, because you'll probably have it 90% of the time you'll have it on, because when you're tagging out and attacking the enemy and swapping out and going to the next character, by the next time you get to the other thing, I'm assuming the ice body armor is infinite duration, right? At least until it's gone, like gets hit, but I don't know because didn't really show what ice body armor does. The ice body armor effect that was affected through this effect additionally increases water damage by 10%, so you'll get an additional 10% water damage increase, and then of course the 5% from your weapon as well. Not bad. And then the rest are just stat boosts. So the character overall, just judging from the sound of it, sounds really insane. Very good support. DPS character, could even be main DPS character, just because you want to use her core attack, so she might have to be on the field for a lot longer. But if you don't want to use her in that scenario, she could also be a sub DPS, right? Because she can buff your team if you're using a water mono team, and she could even if you're not using water mono team, the fact that she gives shields and she can do freezes, that's good too, you know. So that's going to be the character Alicia Blanche. So she's going to be coming very soon. So I just wanted to talk about her a bit. And now we're going to be talking about her compared to other characters. Now, as you can see, just judging by what you're looking at here, we only have 4 water characters. Those 4 water characters being Seo Ji Woo, Han Song Yi, and Nam She Young, and then of course, last but not least, Anna Ruiz. And the only ones that we really know that can actually efficiently output DPS is Seo, because Seo is the main DPS, while Han Song Yi is more of a sub DPS. She's more of a breaker utility control, and then she is a breaker status ailment type of character. Right. So in terms of main DPS, you really only have Seo, and Seo's really good. Don't get me wrong, superb unit. In my opinion, she's like a must-have unit. But the reason why she's must-have is simply due to the fact is she's strong, but you need her for Cerebus, and Cerebus is what you're going to be grinding at endgame. This is what you're going to be getting to get your artifacts, so you can start building up your account, so you can get stronger, so you can tackle even harder content. So what ends up arising is when you're trying to decide whether you should go for Alicia or not, is more of the fact of, do you have Seo, or if you don't have Seo, do you like the character or you don't like the character? That's usually the first questions that come up when you're actually thinking about pulling on a character, right? Now, of course, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to be wanting to do your encores, and if you're trying to go for higher encores, you're going to need a water DPS. And there's no way around it. It's really difficult to actually do this without water DPS. Like, for example, in my case, I had a 5 dupe Wong, which was able to knock out tier 10, right? But in most cases, if you're a free to play player, you won't have access to a 5 dupe just laying around, a 5 dupe main DPS just laying around, right? So you need to run a water mono character. Like, you have to take every advantage that you can get, right? So you want to have Sayo because the Sayo is a must have for this, right? Because she's the only water DPS. Of course, when Alicia drops, she's going to be another water DPS, and she can also be a water sub DPS. So if you, so what I'm trying to get at here is, if you don't have Sail, you're probably going to want to pull for Alicia because you're going to need a mono water character to actually tackle Cerebus. If you do have Sail, what ends up arising is you can go for her. You can go for her if you like her. She's not must pull whatsoever. I only say that she's probably a must pull if you do not have a water character, right? Like a water DPS. If you do not have sales, she's a must pull, in my opinion. If you do have sales, she's not a must pull. However, there's going to be a new piece of content that's going to be coming very shortly in the future. It could be within like a month or so. This is just speculation, right? I don't have any like suggested like evidence for it, but I'm just judging by my experience with gotcha games and stuff. It's probably going to be in like a month or so, and it's going to be this Vulcan Tower type content where you fight Vulcan, of course, and basically he's going to be weak to water, and you want to have as much water characters as possible, right? Because there's going to be a hard difficulty, and then there's going to be an even harder difficulty. So having as much water characters is going to be beneficial to you. So if by then the thought process might change later, and she might end up turning out to be that she's a must pull for literally her and Sail. But in terms of right now, in the present time, if you have Sail, you do not need to pull for Alicia unless you like the character. If you do not have Sayo, you're probably going to want to pull for Alicia simply due to the fact that you need a water mono character to tackle Cerebus 10, or any Cerebus for that matter, like if you're trying to get as high as possible. And you're going to need a water mono for when you're doing the Vulcan Tower thing, that Vulcan Chaos, whatever mode, I forgot what it was called, the weekly mode that's going to be coming in the near future, right? So you're going to need a water mono character. So that's going to be your standpoints. In my case, I think for the Vulcan thing, I want to get as much and be able to do it as best as possible and make my life easier. I have Sail, but I'm probably still going to pull for Alicia simply because she's going to be a staple in water mono teams overall. Like, I'd say that she's probably going to last way longer than Sail would, because even though Sail is a main DPS, Alicia can also boost your entire team's damage because she's the water support, water team support, basically, right? Not only is she good DPS, she is a water support, like I'm saying. So it's just like, I feel like she's going to be more of a staple for further down the line, and she has more longevity than Sail. So I'd like to say that Alicia is a must pull. So I'll say it one more time. If you do not have Sail, Alicia is a must pull. If you do have Sail, she is not a must pull, but however, she is still a very good unit that you should probably go for. You're going to be using her for a long time. I don't see her getting pushed out of, like, I'm not going to say meta because I don't know if she's going to be meta, but you're going to need her for a lot of content, is what I'm saying, right? So you can take that as you will. Our perspectives might be a little bit different what you consider meta, but I don't think I think she's just gonna be very good for a very long time. That's why you should probably pull for her. This is more for free to plays. If you're a whale, you should probably don't even need to worry about this or even watch this video, because you're probably gonna pull for her anyways. But I gave you the rundown, so just in case if you are a whale and you're like, you know what, I don't like the character, well, then you don't gotta pull for her, right? Because I already explained what she does. You know what she does. You know what she's gonna be used for. You know what content that you're probably gonna need her for. She's super good. I'm still gonna consider her probably one of the top characters in the game, just because she does a lot, and there's not really too many water characters. But yeah, she's a water buffing monster DPS character that freezes, that gives shields. I don't know what to say about it. Overall, super good character. In my opinion, she's a must pull, like I told you before. this is coming from a free-to-play perspective, and if you're a dolphin or whatever, just get both, right? Like just get Sail and Alicia. There's no ways around it. And if you're a whale, you probably why the hell are you watching this video, bro? Just go pull. You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, when she comes out, I'm probably just gonna pull one copy of her because I'm gonna be using her more of the sub DPS category role because Sail's my main DPS. She kind of already has a bunch of dupes in her, and that's the only reason why I'm not gonna be chasing her. Even though, despite her being a staple in water teams for a long while, right? But yep, that's just me. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully, this sheds some light, some little bit of clarification on the character when she's coming, and if you want to pull for her or not. And hopefully, this helps you decide. Of course, at the end of the day, this is just my opinion, but I'm giving you hard opinion with evidence on the side that she's going to be very useful, just based on content that you're going to probably need water characters for that actually makes her, you know, actually worth going for, right? Actually giving her value, right? Is what I'm trying to say. So, yep, that's going to be about it. I've been ranting on long enough. Sometimes I get carried away and just yap and end up creating a whole yap session, you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. I just like to talk, you know. It is what it is. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.